Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In this video tutorial, I'm pulling up my Q&A list of questions, and one that stood out was basically how to use texture medium. So instead of doing just a tutorial on how to use texture medium, we'll create a piece of art as well. I'm going to quickly call out the supplies. I may or may not use them all. We'll see. So I've got a piece of cardboard packaging from, I don't know what that's from. Who knows? Just raw cardboard. I also have a piece made up already to save some time. Some torn dictionary paper. For the paint products, I've got DecoArt Chalky Gesso, DecoArt Traditions Matte Medium, and the Texture Medium. And then I've got the Traditions paints, Naphthol Red, Opaque Titanium White, Phthalo Green Yellow, and Hansa Yellow Light. I may bring out some burnt umber. I'm not sure yet. And I also have this stencil, stamp. I wanted the flowers for a background. I'm thinking now I probably should have used a stencil, but I'm going to see how this works. And I want to use up this stays on pad because I have a new one. I want to use this up for a background. So we'll see what happens. So what I want to do first is, and the camera shake, I want to apply a layer of gesso to the cardboard, and this will seal it so we can work on it and everything's not going to sink into the cardboard and it's not going to warp. So the idea of the texture medium, and also if you want to submit a question for me to review on air, you can go to artplace.ca, click contact, and you can fill in the information there. If you don't want your name mentioned, please put that in the comments. Or if you do want your name mentioned, put that in the comments, because I don't call out people's names for privacy unless you give me specific permission. Okay? All right, so let's just get that on there and close that up. And we're going to have camera shake again. Sorry. All right. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to quickly dry this. Speed up the drying time. And then I'm going to take some dictionary paper with the matte medium. And I'm just going to go right in there, and we'll just put that on there. And make sure that everything is dry. I'm working fairly quickly because I want this to try to be a quick tutorial, which will likely not be because I don't want to skip out on any steps. And then I'll just put that on top. I'm going to overlap the text so I don't have a white border, and then just go back over it. And then let's just tear this piece up as well, and we'll put that on there too. Something like that. Let's overlap that. This is just to create something in the background. And we can also wrap this around the back. Now what you want to do is, if you're creating this for an actual art piece, finish the back properly. This is just a demonstration, so I'm not worried about it. But you want to try finishing the back of these, or you can just cut them. All right, so that. And then once that's dry, because I want to focus on the actual texture medium demonstration. So once that's dry, let me quickly dry this. I just want to quickly show you how I got to this point. Then I'm going to take a little bit more gesso on a little kitchen cloth. I did a video where I couldn't figure out the name. I couldn't remember what the name of these things were, and I had a fit on camera. And then all I'm going to do is just wipe that on there, which is going to set everything back. So what you can do with your piece is that you can create, just take leftover scrapbook paper and glue it down and just apply the gesso, and that way you'll have something that just sits in the background. Okay, so you can do that. Put it aside to dry and then trim it off. All right, so I've got this piece now. And I'm going to, you know what? Hang on, let me do something else. So I'm going to do it on this because that way it is dry. Let's get some paint. I want to paint a foliage style background. So I'm going to take some phthalo green yellow, Hansa yellow light. Okay, so phthalo green yellow is phthalo green. It's a green that leans towards yellow, and Hansa yellow light is a yellow that leans towards green. And I want to neutralize that with a little bit of naphthol red. But I'm going to need some naphthol red for the demonstration. I might as well bring out the white, opaque titanium white at the same time. All right, so let's mix these two together. I've used equal parts. And what this also does is not only does it brighten the green, it also lightens it without adding white. Now I'm going to go into the edge here, a little bit of naphthol red, and that's going to dull it down. Nice. All right, so let's clean off the palette knife. And I'm going to get my number 8 bristle bright, and I'm just going to stipple, which is just pouncing up and down. Oh, Mia's going to start to bark. Oh, maybe not. And just putting that down like that. Quickly use a wet baby wipe. And I'm just going to press this down, and that's just going to remove some of the heavy green because there's gesso on there already. And it's just going to put a little bit of a tint, but has a little bit of texture. Because the texture medium, what I'm going to do with it is I want to create roses or wildflowers. There we go. And I changed my mind on the stamp. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to find a different one just to create some shapes. All right, so I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to find another stamp. So I just have just something shape here just to create a little bit of interest in the back. You don't have to use that. It's almost dry, so I'm gonna see what I can do with that. Oh, I like that. I don't know if I can get anybody out there who uses these StazOn, can you get refills for this? I wonder if you can. Just gonna stamp, do the ghost. Oh, the ghost layers. Whoopsie. There. I think you actually can. And of course, clean your stamps, which I never do. I am so bad. So bad for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the texture medium. So the texture medium I'm using is Traditions, and you can mix this with paint. And what it looks like is this nice, it's super smooth. It's like room temperature butter. And I'm going to put some here. Yeah, about that much. I want to I'm going to divide this in half. Because I'm going to be making small flowers. Let me make sure I have that there. But the size of a the size of a Canadian loonie. Americans or people internet. So I don't know, 1 inch dollops. All right. So I'm going to take some, probably about half the amount of white and put it in one. You can mix this 1-to-1. It doesn't say. Okay. Make sure you clean that off. And now I'm going to take again about half the amount with red. Now, when you put this on your piece, you can use canvas, whatever. Whatever you do for designs, that's how it's going to dry. So I'm going to get this. And again, this is just a demonstration, but at least we have something in the background that we can use. So I'm going to take some of the red and put that there. Okay. And get another one and put that there. Just trying to gently flatten it out a little bit. And, I'm just going to have just enough. And take the other one and put that one there. Make sure you don't add too much paint if you're using the fluid acrylics. Don't add too much or it's just going to be really, really soupy. And clean that off. Now I'm going to go with the white. And I'm going to take, so you can see the measurement on there. That. So it's almost like you're going to be sculpting. Let me just clean that off. And you can reverse the colors if you want. It's completely up to you. Now, with this technique, this specific technique I'm going to show you, you have to be prepared that things aren't going to work and you kind of just work with it. So that's the reason why I used red and white, because I can swirl the colors and I'm going to get probably white flowers that have pink, or I may get red flowers that have white tints. I don't know. So I'm going to just take my little cotton swab tip and I'm just going to circle, circle, circle to get that in there. Just going to swirl that. Just going to swirl that and swirl that. Okay. Now this is where you start doing the, I guess the carving, what you could say. I'm going to use my palette knife and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to create these. You know what? There's too much paint in this one. It's flattening out. So you're just carving. Oh, no, it's fine. Going out, out. It also helps you if you have something to refer to. I already have one that's done way over there that I'll show you. Best done if it's larger. This palette knife is a little bit big. Or the flowers are a little bit small. I'm going to go the opposite way now. And all you're doing is just cutting into the paint to create the roses. This is just one way that you can use texture medium. You can also, if you're creating trees, you can put the trees down with this and it'll be nice and thick. I believe this is sandable as well. Now you can also use modeling paste. Oops, I went the wrong way there. If you're using just one color, it's fine. Because I'm using two different colors, I'm trying not to lose the shapes. This one here, I lost the shape. So you know what I can do with this one? I'm going to mix it up to get a pink flower. And then I'll just mold it this way. I think I have a little bit too much paint in there. The one that I have on the side is really nice. But you can get some really nice shapes with this. I do have to admit, working large is much better. Where's my stick? Let's see what you can do with the stick. Well, the stick isn't bad either. So just making little designs. And however it ends off, that's what it's going to look like. Ooh, look at that. See if I can fill in that hole there. So this would come in handy for mixed media if you don't have any paper flowers, and you can create something like this. And you know what's funny? I tried doing the other flower with this stick and it didn't work. I'm going to lift this up so you can see how thick it is. There you go. That's how thick it is. And that's exactly how it's going to dry. Okay. Now, if we were to use a texture paste, that's more, that you really have to carve it. And that's good for stenciling and that. But the texture medium, think of it as just making your paint super, super thick. So let me show you one that I already did. That's been drying for a few hours. That's how thick it is. See? And when you use texture medium, you have to let it air dry. You can't use a heat gun because you'll end up drying the top and you won't dry what's underneath. But there you go. Here you are. So with the texture medium, all you're doing is basically making something thick. You're making it paint really thick, and then you can swirl it. See, that's how thick it is. But you can see that it's a lot easier working big and not so small. And then from here, you can use a paintbrush and you can paint leaves. You can do whatever you want. This would actually make for nice for a book of backgrounds. I think I'm going to keep this from one of the book of backgrounds. Although we did paint the focal point here. Let's see what we can do with this when it comes time to actually decorating the little book. So I'll have to put that, I'll have to put an eyelet and put it into here. And I'll do this one. Oh, the eyelet's going to actually puncture the flower. So I'll put it in like that. Alrighty. Kill two birds with one stone. Yeah, so, and for how long it'll take, this one here, I would say would probably take a good day to 2 days to dry, to be completely dry if you want to do more work on it. And this one here, let's see, let me think. Yeah, so this one here, this is a matte finish. If you want, because I just saw how it was getting dull. If you wanted to put a gloss finish on that, just use varnish after the fact. Just make sure you've given enough time for it to dry. All right, so if you guys have used matte medium or texture medium before, comment below. Let me know what particular brand you've used, and if you have any pictures of artwork that you have created with the texture medium. Head on over to the Facebook group. The link is in the description below, and post your pictures over there. So, and then maybe put down what you used and any specific techniques that you used, just so we can learn, because not all of us have the same supplies, and we all learn from each other. So I would love to see what you've done. Alrighty, so that's it for the technique. So I hope that gives you one idea of what you can do with texture medium, and from there, as long as you know that you thick paint, it thickens up your paint, and that way you can manipulate it. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff with it. Palette knife, a brush, you can trees, you can create landscapes, landscapes. Gail in the Facebook group, her challenge for January is snow. I think I'm going to use a texture medium to do the challenge. Alrighty, so I'm going to invite you guys over to do the challenge as well. All right, so until I see you guys next time, stay inspired.